Ooh, that's a great one. So one, I'll start kind of backwards, right? No matter how well or how poorly your interview went, sending a thank you note almost immediately, right? I would say I always aim for 8 hours or less, but 24 is fine as well. Send a thank you note to all of the people who you interviewed, right? And if you don't have their emails, send them a LinkedIn message and be very specific. Don't simply just say thank you for your time. Say thank you. I learned X from you. I was very thrilled or excited about the company's prospects. But most importantly, your passion showed, blah, 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 whatever, right? You want to be very specific about two or three things that you actually picked up and you really liked from that interview. I've been in many conversations with hiring managers and recruiters who will say, oh, yeah, oh, Kunal, he left us this really nice thank you note. It really just shows that he would be a great fit if he's not a fit for this. Now, we can definitely consider him later. And recruiters will remember you because not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people will take their time to leave a thank you note. So that's a great way to make an impression afterwards, but it goes a very far way. Now when you're going into an interview, make sure you also dress for the part and you dress for the culture of the company. Like for example, if you're going to go and work for a technology company in San Francisco, many of them have this, very lenient to business casual dress codes. And so if you come in a 3-piece suit, that's going to maybe throw people off, right? It will give them the doubt that, oh, this person is not a fit for our culture. And that's a sad reality. But making sure to understand what the company is like. And you can get a good sense of the dress code by the photos, right? If you go on their About Us page or when they talk about diversity and inclusion, any of their career pages, see what the people on their photos dress like. That's generally a good tip if you don't have an idea. But certain industries generally tend to dress a certain way, right? Finance is a little bit more traditional, business casual to business formal. Technology is usually a little bit more from informal to business casual. And then, it depends on others, but that's probably the biggest way of doing it. And then the last thing I would say is while you're on site, make sure you're on time, right? Show up at least about 10 to 15 minutes before, no earlier. The reason why I say that is because if you do show up 30 minutes or an hour early, sometimes the hiring manager, the people who are interviewing you, will feel pressure to come and pick you up. And if they're in the middle of something, that could lead to kind of a bad impression. And then, too, I think just being yourself is so important, right? Like, I know that many people want to make sure they show their best selves, but something I've learned with working with over 500 people, landing a job is when we're honest with ourselves and when we're there and asking questions and engaging truly instead of trying to impress, that really does help. I've noticed that the ones where I'm asked to kind of even come back myself is when I'm just asking questions. I'm not thinking about, am I going to get hired or not? I'm thinking about genuinely, like, does this company have a future? What can I add? How can I add value? There's this thing that I have noticed about your company. Can you tell me more? And what are you doing to solve it? What's on your mind, right? Questions that the hiring manager interviewers are thinking about on a day-to-day basis while they're there. And just being genuine about it. I think that's also super helpful.